Not too much. Enjoying the warm weather in Florida just like you, except on the other coast.
Perfect, man. Perfect.
Yep.
Do you listen on the internet right now?
Yes.
Cool, man. Cool.
No, I enjoy that. That's in your Tiger TV and everything. I've been watching you for years, and you've really taken this whole programming to a level that's just phenomenal.
I appreciate it.
And now, here's Tom O'Brien.
It's 4:07, folks, and we get that full moon coming in at 4:15 today. Let's take a look at one of our 4 agreements. Take action on your ideas. Doing your best means to take action. You can have many great ideas in your head, but without action upon an idea, there'll be no manifestations, no results, and no reward. Market-wise, let's take a look at it out here. We had the Dow down 178, NASDAQ off 47, S&P's off 22, gold contract up $7.60, trading at $1,532 an ounce. Silver up 36 cents at $35.78 an ounce. Platinum down 15 at $1,770 an ounce. Copper off 4 pennies at $4.11 a pound. Light sweet crude smoke down $4 at $95.27. We had bonds up 1.5 at 125.14. Dollar index up $1.39 at 76.09, and the euro down 2 ticks at 141.66. And now what we're going to do, folks, we're going over to our man, Mr. Steve Rhodes. Now, what we're going to do here is this, folks. Okay, Steve. Okay, we're going to walk you through a study. Well, I'll let him walk you through it. If you're watching this on Tiger TV, you're going to see the charts up. You're going to see everything that we're talking about. If you're not watching this on Tiger TV right now, this will be archived. You'll be able to pull this up, and we'll walk you through this. Steve Rhodes, what's going on?
How you doing, Tom?
I'm doing great, man.
Hey,
well,
I love your howl.
Listen, you know, we got 7 minutes to the full moon.
That's right.
At 4:15. And, folks, what we're doing here is that there's a chart up. Tell us what we're looking at here, Steve. Well, first tell us about the study, and then tell us about the chart.
Okay, so the study that we're talking about here is a study that RBS did, and it was a study.
That's Royal Bank of...
Royal Bank of Scotland.
Okay, yep.
And they did a study. They went back. They took a look at investing $1,000 into the marketplace in 1928. And they took a look at 2 different strategies. One was a buy-and-hold strategy. And if you just simply bought and hold, that $1,000 would be worth $63,000 today.
Okay.
The second strategy that they looked at was buying on a new moon and selling on a full moon. When you did that, your $1,000 turned into $1.5 million, 22 times as much. And
this went back to 1928, the study that Royal Bank of Scotland did. Okay.
Absolutely. And I believe it was through the first quarter of 2010.
Okay.
Now, what I did was I took a look at that study. Now, in a bear market, what you're supposed to do is the exact opposite. And what I mean by the opposite is instead of buying on the new moon, you sell on the new moon. And instead of selling on the full moon, you buy on the full moon. And so I went back from this big run-up that we had from August 24th of 2010.
Okay.
And what I did was I flipped the strategy as if we were in a bear market.
Okay.
And if you use that strategy, you would have gotten 71% win-loss rate. You would have had 15 wins, 6 losses in using that strategy. And that's what this chart shows. We've been talking about it on the radio show that I do. And what we're doing, what was great about today, the action of today, was that what we wanted to see the market pull back into this full moon.
Yes.
You know, when I've been talking about it for a couple of weeks, and so when the market took off yesterday, you know, both you and I were saying, oh, no, did we miss it by a day?
Right.
Because, you know, these things happen typically within a couple of day orbit. But what we've found is on the last 2 full moons, the market has pulled right back into it, and the low of that day was the low that we saw for several days. And if we take a look at the April 18th full moon, that ran us up into that May 3rd time frame. And so, for me, this is exactly what we were looking for. It's where your back is up against the wall. We focused on the trade on this one going long the S&P, because this whole study here was done on the S&P 500.
Yes.
And so we took a look at the trade of going into the SSO and the money management strategy, because look, this is all probabilities. Well, now what we like to have, obviously, is a 71% probability on our side.
Right.
What's even better about this is that if you use the right money management technique here, then you just simply don't have to, you put in the trade. You can put in the trade right now. I mean, the SSO closed at 48.62. It's a real simple. The stop I figured was about $1.77, which is underneath the swing point that's out there from, I believe, March 18th. And so it's a real simple. This is exactly what we wanted. When I woke up this morning, of course, I was waking up at 2, 3, 4, 5, watching the market, watching the dollar take off. And so it was for me, this was great. I loved seeing the action today.
Because we also have, now, folks, as we're walking you through this, right, what happens is that you have the phenomena of what we're talking about, meaning full moons, new moons. But what we also have, can you talk a little about the pattern setup? Because there's a lot of things happening at the same time here.
Well, the pattern, in this case here, we were doing is going into. I mean, we made an ABC pattern.
Yes.
On the way down, and it was like a 1 to 1.272 pattern that we made. So that was a nice trading pattern to have a reversal. We're still into that March 18th swing point. But right here is where you would go ahead and you would put on that trade, and if it works, here's the great thing about this is that there is so much. The new moon, full moon strategy releases information just like swing points.
Yes.
Because if this fails, it's still a success. Because if this fails, you're going to close out your long position and you're going to go short.
Because then you're really going downtown. Yeah, exactly.
And what we also know about this strategy, as we're taking a look at it, we're taking a look at the next. And what's more important today is that we had both a full moon and a lunar eclipse.
Okay.
So it gives it a little bit more power. But because you've got both those aspects occurring today, if it doesn't hold, that releases a bunch of information to us.
Right.
That's telling us that the market's going to go down much further. And that's what we're looking for. We're always looking for information, information that we can trade. So what it looks like to me, the next new moon, which would mean if this cycle is working, then the next time we're going to sell is going to be at or near the next new moon, which is on July 1st. So the great thing about this is we know in advance, what's happening. And that's what's great about these patterns is because they let us know what the road ahead may look like, and it just gives us this great information so that we have time to act.
And folks, what's amazing here is that, and Steve and Larry were talking this afternoon on Larry's show. And, of course, I'm a super bear, and I'm looking for the market to go down. But we're looking for, and I'm specifically looking for the market to bounce out of here right now. And the reason being is, number one, we did 1 billion shares today versus 1.4 billion at the swing point on the NYSE. We did 1.9 versus 2.6 on the NASDAQ. We came in with a monster amount of downticks, and the fear is out there. So it's really interesting how this thing shakes out, and I'm talking about on a short-term basis. But the bottom line is that when you start putting all this together, this is what makes a market.
It is. We're always looking for information, and the best trades. The best trades, even if they turn out to be a losing trade, the best trades are always when your back is up against the wall.
Yeah.
That's when you're like, okay, do I pull the trigger or not? Well,
no doubt.
Right?
And yeah.
And it's the coolest thing because it's like we're out here fishing. We're out here fishing. We're waiting for the market to come back to us. The market did come back to us. It came back in a real nice way, especially after yesterday's action. And so, for me, this is. It's because you've got time and price, and you've got the volume. You've got everything coming together, so it's easy to place the trade. You've got the probability on your side. It's really it's
and it's one of the hardest
simple.
trades to place because the bottom line is that you finish it at lows, you finish it at a swing point.
Yeah.
It's like what the heck can make the market go up? The dollar's going up. Commodities got absolutely killed. All of the above. Now, when we're looking at folks. If you're in the car listening to this, don't worry about it. This is going to be up on Tiger TV. I'll get you the channel that it's going to be on, in a few minutes. But the bottom line is that you'll see the chart. Now, when we're looking at this chart, Steve, right?
Yeah.
Can you just walk folks through this chart a little? I can see just a few of the buys and sells.
Yeah, absolutely. So, folks, when you take a look at this chart, what you want to do, if you go back, you'll take a look. It actually starts from August the 10th, and it shows from that point forward, it shows every new moon and full moon. And wherever you see the line drawn, so if you see a new moon and you see a line drawn, that's the actual day, and all the dates are marked there. So folks can take this chart and they can apply it to their own charting system. And so it shows where you would have sold, as well as when you come in on a full moon, where it is you would have bought. And so you can easily go in there and you can track your wins and losses. Now, what I also did here, and folks will see on the screen, is they'll see that I made a slight revision to these rules. And that was that I believe that these new moon, full moon aspects give us more information. So when the trade goes against you, you close out your position and you go the other way.
Right.
And so when I did that, that gave us a 95% win rate.
Really?
Yeah. So from August 24th, through today, gave us a 95% win rate. Now, obviously, you took some small losses along the way, but that's just good money management.
Yeah.
And this is information that we're yearning for, that we're looking for. And so it's a pattern that's working. At some point in time, the pattern doesn't work. Well, then you look for a new pattern. We know that. We've been trading. And so when you have – so folks, that's what it is that you're looking at. And one of the other things that I show on here is the power of the solar eclipses and the lunar eclipses, because when those are combined with the full moon or the new moon, that should be a much stronger swing point, if you will. And so when that gets violated – that's when, it gives you that. In this case here, it was an exact move of from the swing point low, Tom, and where I'm talking about there is I'm going back, if you look at the November 26 time frame, to the move up, and that move up took us right into the solar eclipse. And when that pattern failed, when we were supposed to sell and we moved above it, I just simply drew this. That was our A to B point, if you will.
Right.
And we just simply made a move of the move, and where that took us to was exactly to the May 3rd highs.
Amazing.
It is. It's always amazing, and when you mix the astrology in here, look, what we're all looking for is we're looking for information. And I think the Royal Bank of Scotland, added a lot of credibility to what we're looking here. But you also have to know how to use it. You've got to know how to use this information to your advantage. And I think this is it's great when it all sets up and it works on time and price. Yeah, because we're talking about turning points, folks. That's what we're talking about here. Now, what gets so interesting is that these are exact points. And so it's 4:15 today, folks. That basically was the full moon. Yep, absolutely. Well, listen, folks, this is going to be on Channel 2 at Tiger TV on the Daily Recap, okay? And, of course, don't forget, you can listen to Steve every Monday and Wednesday at noon, right, Steve?